The problem with the USA job market. The problem with America in general: poverty, healthcare, housing crisis, education, etc. all boil down to having a job. If you have a job, you can afford to pay for housing, afford healthcare, get a better education, etc. But why, when your whole life depends on your getting a job, is based on the whims of the employer? Thinking about it, the decision of whether you are going to get raped on the streets or starve to death depends on if a hiring manager likes the cut of your jib. Does that seem fair? Not to mention jobs that require to lift at least 50 pounds. Wait, I'm pretty sure most people are not bodybuilders. And that also discriminates against most women, and not to forget people with disabilities and health problems. Also disturbing are jobs that require you to have a happy attitude. Wait, is that not discriminating against people who have a mental disability or depression? So basically, to get down to it, employers want slaves. Lift heavy things, do back-breaking labor, and you have to be happy about it. After slavery was abolished in America, it left a void. America still needed labor. What do you do when the thing that built your country is taken away? Just make a new version. These are called minimum wage jobs. The difference is that working conditions are a bit better. Instead of living in a shack on the property, you live in your own shack you pay for in a bad neighborhood filled with crime. You are still getting abused and treated badly. Slaves were given the bare minimum to survive. Food, shelter, clothing. Jobs are keeping people barely alive just to continue to work for them. Some work every day and still can't afford much. Working several jobs, overtime, full-time, etc. Keep in mind that the most profitable companies pay the people at the bottom the least. How do you think they make so much profit? Keep costs low. But back to the messed up nature of the American job market. The very hiring process is flawed, discriminatory, and unfair. So what? People say, just get another job. Well, most entry-level jobs want similar things. Even if we forget about entry-level jobs and go more into jobs that require educations, it's not much different. Your boss has to like you. The end. It does not matter if you are the best applicant. They will hire the person they like better, even if they will do a worse job. So much for progress. I think you are starting to see how flawed this is. It does not guarantee anyone a job, and it does not reward good behavior. Instead, it drives people crazy. Employers reward random things like a positive attitude, cherry people, and other traits that people are not in control of. So is it really fair to hire based on these things? No, even worse when it's written in the job application. Looking for positive people. My mental state is what I was born with. Just like how they say compliment someone on their outfit rather than a physical feature of theirs. Since you are complimenting their style. Something they chose. Not something they were simply born with. What jobs do is discrimination, plain and simple. Some companies hire only happy people. Okay, well, someone who is neutral can also do the job. Does not seem fair to judge and discriminate based on born traits. You could be missing out on a hardworking person. To be honest, the most successful people tend to be quiet and keep to themselves. The way these jobs backfire is that the people are so happy that they just ignore their job and goof off at work. Why, you see this so frequently in minimum wage jobs. Most frequently at retail stores. I'm sure you've had a bad experience or 10. That is why Amazon made Jeff Bezos the richest man alive. People wanting to get something online then deal with the idiots at the physical store. Now more than ever, all jobs need to start hiring qualified people, rather than hire based on personality. I'm sure the customer would rather deal with a qualified employee that will assist them with no error, than a happy, goofy employee that has no idea what they are doing and fuck up their shit. But hey, they were incompetent with a smile, so that makes it okay, right? This is the anti-logic these companies are using. Lost count how many times I've had bad service, and how many times I was overqualified for a job but the doofus with a smile got hired over me. The company goes down the drain and then they wonder why. I sit back and laugh. So sad American companies are so incompetent. That being said, some people are very qualified, but they are downright evil and harass people. At this point, yes, by all means do not hire them if it's a customer service job or if they need to work in a team and they can't. At this point it is not really their personality, more so their ability to do the job. If you are controlling and everything has to be just so and you will not listen to anyone else, then no, you can't do the job. You have to be able to be humble and admit that no one is perfect and we all make mistakes. In the USA we have standing armies, the Navy, Air Force, Marines, so many things to protect us. We have street cleaning to keep us healthy and safe. We have street lights for safety and convenience as well. This country warns us if there is severe weather, if there are some dangerous animals around, and so on. But the one thing that we need to truly survive, the government has nothing to do with. Jobs. Would it not make more sense to put the control of jobs into the hands of the government? That way people in need of a job can get a job. Who knows you better than the government? They have your education records, health records, arrest records. In short, they know you better than you know yourself. Why not make the government one big job placement agency? This way jobs can't discriminate anymore. No more hiring some dumb bitch the boss just hired to suck his dick. Sexism. No more people hiring their friend. Preferential treatment, unfair advantage. No more people hiring happy people. Discrimination. No more racism, as well as bosses can't choose who works for them anymore. What will happen is that an expert in the field will work for the government to hire others for companies. If you are an employer, you go to the government and ask for an employee that has these qualifications. Job seekers will register with the government and say they are looking for work. The government will search their systems and find a match. Even better, we can even solve the problem of traffic. No more faraway jobs. They will rank applicants in this order: qualification, need, ability, willingness, distance. So basically whoever can do the job will be picked. If there are two or more, it will be taken down from there who is in more need for the job. And then from there, if that is equal as well, who has been without a job longer. If that is equal, who had the better criminal record. And then based on distance, etc. This way evil, lazy, stupid people will be punished. Won't really be hard to make this system, as most things are computer-based anyways. They just have to put a search engine in personal databases and run them against the qualifications the employer is looking for. As a safeguard, the government worker will interview the chosen applicant to make sure everything is accurate in their databases. That's it. I just solved poverty, homelessness, healthcare, sexism, racism, and so on. If you have a job, America being based on money, you can buy your way out of any problem. Live in a better area, get a better doctor, etc. And no more annoying job applications. You upload a resume but still have to put your work history. Makes no sense. This way the most in need will be hired. Also, if people don't meet the qualifications, the government can host training sessions to get people qualified by the interviewer, giving them hands-on experience. The only way to stabilize this country and make it fair is to give hiring power only to the government. Also to those saying, just go to school and get a high-paying job that is in demand. Not everyone has the mental capacity, skill, and ability to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, etc. We all have our strengths. Some are good at science but bad athletes. Some are great with math but bad with music. Some are great at art but can't understand physics. People all have their own talents. It's unfair to assume that everyone can do everything. If that was true, society would not be needed and we would all be self-reliant. We would run our own countries, pave our own roads, grow our own food, build our own homes, make our own clothing, be our own doctor, make our own transportation, and entertain ourselves. Among other things. Some people are very talented. Some have few to no talents. But we do need to keep in mind more people are uneducated and live at or below the poverty line. So we need to make it fair. Yes, we do have some programs that give some a boost in the application process if you are disabled, veteran, chronically jobless, etc. But it's a drop in the bucket to fix this broken system. I'm tired of going to workplaces and seeing groupthink. It needs to stop. Fairness needs to make an appearance again in this country. Enough of employers making their own private heavens to the detriment of everyone else's public hells. Control needs to be taken away from ignorant hiring managers hiring people they feel like hiring. No, we need to hire based on qualification, skill, and need. It would strengthen our economy and just make this country a fairer place. For example, people may think twice about committing a crime since it will put them last in line for a job. People will be more educated seeing as they can't weasel their way into a job anymore. People won't be able to BS their way in a job anymore. And people that harass others will be put at the bottom of the list as well. Also, part-time jobs need to be outlawed. They are evil and waste time. People need to have benefits and hours to be able to live and pay the bills and expenses. It will force the employer to not have preferential treatment. Part-time workers get tossed around like rag dolls. Close at 10 p.m. and be back to work to open at 5 a.m. They get the part-time worker to do it to spare the full-time workers they like and treat better. This is against equality. And of course unfair. No one should take abuse for others. Some people actually like to work a 5 a.m. shift. Why? Because they get out earlier from work and have the rest of the day to themselves. You don't have to use these shifts as punishment, and should not be able to. Another good thing about getting rid of part-time will do is less abuse, of course. And more stability in people's lives. No more 8-hour work weeks. It will force the people in charge to budget better since they can't just cut from the bottom anymore if they make a mistake. Also, unstable schedules need to be outlawed. You will work the same schedule. If you can't work the schedule and you want it to be customized to you on your whims on a week-to-week basis, too bad. No one else should have to pick up your slack, no exceptions. So tired of being on call for BS jobs in which being on call is not needed. Of course there are exceptions for emergency jobs like doctors and stuff like that where if someone is having a heart attack the doctor can't be like, well, I work the same shift, tough luck. No, they have to help the person. No more being a slave to the quote company's needs. No, you pieces of shit. What you need is someone to work for you. What the worker needs are hours and a stable shift. While we are there, we'll provide you with the company's needs. But I will not be fucking available, aka open availability, just to get 8 hours a week. No, fuck you. Again, it will force companies not to be lazy and budget better. Remember, slavery was abolished. Moses said, "Let my people go." We are fighting human trafficking around the world. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Free at last, we are free at last. But of course we are not. But we should be. Don't make a bad gamble, hire people you need. Not your preferential treatment way of doing things of, well, I give this person 40 hours no matter what. Then the rest of my employees are disposable and I will cut them because I like the cut of the 40-hour employees jib. This will also reduce work conflicts. Why did my hours get cut and not theirs? For example. Also, workers will choose their own 8-hour shift, open, close, mid. Again, if any harassment goes on between employees, they are warned then fired. Here we go with finally the world being fair. Also, no trading shifts since that causes chaos as well. If you can't show up, that is on you. They will be one person short. They are letting their team down, that's on them. If someone is taking too many days off for no valid reason, they will be terminated and replaced by someone who does actually want to work. Again, fairness. Not the boss excusing bad behavior since they are their favorite. Equality. Already a fair living wage is being fought for. Why not a fair way to the actual job?